What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have one of the most highly anticipated matches on my channel. It's against ShadyPenguinn. We decided to hop in a nice little underused match, and turned out to be really fun. He's an awesome player, and he's got some pretty big threats over on his team. I'm afraid of that Galvantula because I know that he's going to lead off with it and be able to get up a Sticky Web, and 85% of matches where people use Sticky Web against me, I freaking lose. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and try to counter that. I lead off with my Kung Foot, and I decided to waste my Unburdened Hitmonlee really early, but it actually turns out to be a pretty good play because I go for the Fake Out. That's going to break the Focus Sash, and now that I've activated my Unburden, I'm able to go for a Rock Slide, outspeed it, and that is going to be a Dad-Ass Spider. So sorry about that, Spidey, but that is extremely good for me now that I don't have to deal with that stupid Sticky Web all over the place. Hitmonlee is a little bit nerfed at this point, considering he doesn't have his item. But I'm going to save him for later. I do have the Fake Out still. I'm going to be able to still get some damage off of that guy later, so that's pretty cool. He brings out his Donphan, as I know he's probably just going to set up some Stealth Rocks. I can't really hurt it with Hitmonlee, so I'm like, I'll bring out my boy Kraydildo, who is going to scare it away with a Giga Drain and then go for the Toxic as I predict a switch into the Florges, who's definitely going to want to come in and absorb some damn special attacks like these assholes do. These things literally will ruin your day if you're not ready for it, let me tell you. But it's nice that I got the Toxic off on it. I do know that it can have the Aromatherapy, but I'm not too worried about it because he's not going to want to waste a turn this early and go for that yet. So he just makes a really smart play and double switches into his Donphan as I was trying to bring my Muck out onto his Florges, which would have been nice, but now I'm in a pretty shitty situation because I know he can just go for the Earthquake, get a buttload of damage off on me, and I know Muck is too valuable to lose at this point. So I decide to go into Quagmire. The Earthquake isn't going to do too much at all, and then I can actually scare it away with a Scald and do my Quagmire thingy. So he's gonna go for the Earthquake. Earthquake is not gonna do very much to Quagmire at all, and this is actually the first time Quagmire has been in a match for like fucking some time now. Welcome back, buddy. Welcome back. So he's gonna switch now. He goes into his Blastoise as he's predicting the Scald. I knew he had the Blastoise, and I actually decided to switch also, and I go back into my Sup as my Muck is, not too worried about it because I knew his Donphan was not gonna stay in. Considering I had a damn Quagsire out there. So I was like, I'm gonna bring back out Muck, and the matchup looks like it'll probably be pretty good. So the Blastoise is gonna go ahead and Mega Evolve, which shows me that he's just gonna want to stay in and attack, which is completely fine with me. I actually considered staying in and going for a Curse, which could have arguably been a risky play. He does go for the Dark Pulse and gets a crit. That did too much damage, and I was a little bit scared there. I was like, holy shit. In the long run, maybe a Curse would have been a pretty good play here, but I do go for the Poison Jab, and it's actually going to get a Poison on it. I've been really lucky with Poisons lately. Like, you wouldn't even believe it. So he's actually just going to stay in. He's going to Dark Pulse again. Sup is going to be able to take that. I believe he's just trying to get damage off on Muck because it's definitely a threat to his team, and he realizes that the Blastoise isn't really too big of a threat to my team. So his Blastoise is actually going to live with like 1 HP after that poison, and that's kind of a bummer, but then I'm like, oh, Shadow Sneak, motherfucker, and Muck just goes ahead and creepily goes behind that. Like, I don't even know how Muck does that. Shadow Sneak from Muck must be like the weirdest looking thing. So now he's going to go into Donphan now, as he can just basically scare me away with an Earthquake. I actually stay in, thinking he's going to over-predict. As he saw me switch into my Quagsire last time, he probably would expect me to do the same thing, but he actually just goes for the Earthquake, and Sup is definitely going to die. So sorry about that, buddy, but at least he got some shit done. And now I don't really have much for that Florges, which is kind of a bummer, but I'm going to have to work my way around it at this point. At least I don't have to deal with the Blastoise, so that's cool. I'm going to go into Quagmire. Quagmire can take any physical attack this thing wants, hit it hard with a Scald or an Earthquake, and you basically, you know the drill. Now he's actually just deciding to switch into Rotom Mow here, which was a good play on his part because I don't have anything to really hit it. I do go for the Scald. It's not going to do too much, and he's going to definitely be able to scare me away with a Leaf Storm. The little bit scary part about it is that he can predict a switch and go for the Thunderbolt and hit my Cradily pretty hard, I guess. Considering my Cradily is specially defensive, though, I wasn't really too worried about it. He actually goes for the Will-O-Wisp, as I was glad I switched into my Cradily, because I was like, if anybody wants to be burned, I guess Kraydildo's down. I mean, I don't know. Nobody's ever down to be burned, but Kraydildo will fucking take it. So I know at this point he can't really hurt me for much damage, so I know he's probably going to Volt Switch, and I know that he still has that Infernape around, and that Infernape is going to be able to put a massive hole in my Cradily, and seeing as Cradily at this point seems like the biggest threat to his team, he's definitely going to want to try to kill my Cradily. So I get some Stealth Rocks up, just in case something, it's always nice to have Rocks up. That Rock support motherfuckers switching in are just going to not really dig it. So Fire Goku is going to be able to scare me away with a, basically a close combat or a fire move or anything that he wants, and I'm pretty scared, so I have to switch into Quagmire, knowing that if he goes for the close combat, it's definitely going to be able to two-hit KO me, but then that's perfect, because then I can get a revenge kill switch into my Alakazam, who is carrying a Focus Sash, and since I have the Magic Guard, the Stealth Rocks aren't going to be able to affect me, so that's the good thing about Focus Sash Alakazam, but I do have a plan for this revenge kill. I'm not really too worried about this Fire Goku. As long as he doesn't switch it out and save it for my Credilli later, I should be able to do pretty well in this. So he's going to close combat my Quagmire 2 times, and that is a dead Quagmire. Sorry about that, buddy. You've done good, though. So the Life Orb damage is taking its toll on this guy, and that's pretty cool. Now I send in Mustachio, and I'm like, please don't switch. I go for a Psychic. He really didn't have much switch options anyways, because Psychic will hit hard. I guess he could have actually gone into his Florges. That probably would have been the ideal play, but now he's going to go into his Bucket, and Bucket is definitely going to be able to scare me away, considering I don't want to die. I definitely want to save Mustachio for later, because I know I'm faster and able to hit pretty much a lot of the shit on his team. So I go into Kraydildo, and I know that this thing basically usually carries Moonblast as its only attacking move. Considering I got massive special defense, I'm going to be able to take that, and then even after the burn damage, be able to take another one if I really want to. The unfortunate thing is that I don't have anything to hit this with, so I'm actually realizing that since it's toxic, I might as well just try to stall it out. Hoping it doesn't have the aromatherapy at this point, I'm just going to go for the recover, as he, I think, is just going to, he's just going to stay in and hit me with one more Moonblast. Kraydilli's like, ain't gonna die today, motherfucker. Leave it with 5 HP, and I'm able to get a recover off, which is perfect, because at this point, now that he sees that I have recover, he's like, well, shit. And that's a bummer. You know, it's a terrible feeling to be walled by a Kraydilli. Look at him just staring you down with his, like, 9 dicks on his head. So this toxic is taking its toll on this guy, and I'm like, hell yeah, really glad I got that toxic off early. It's unfortunate that I'm burned because I'm just taking damage and it's just kind of like negating the leftovers and stuff, but he's going to switch now. He's going to go into Rock on Rock, who I should have used the Giga Drain on. If I used the Giga Drain, I would have gotten like a freaking kill and a free recover, but instead I just go for the recover to play it safe. And Kraydildo is looking pretty healthy over here, and I realize that he does not have much for me. He can stay in an Earthquake if he really wants to, but he knows that I have Giga Drain, and then I would be able to basically just get all my health back and stuff. So he is in quite the pickle over here. Kraydilli just putting bitches in pickles. Look at this. Using an NU poke and UU actually came in quite handy. I'm digging it. Now he's going to switch into his Rotom Meow, which is a pretty awesome name for a Rotom. And I go for the Giga Drain, as it's not going to do too much to this thing. But on the other hand, I'm not really too afraid of it, considering he probably just carries Volt Switch, T-Bolt, and Leaf Storm. All of which I can definitely tank, and then I can always, you know, just go ahead and get them recovers off and all that kind of fun stuff. So here I decided to switch into Mustachio, as I realized that I can basically take any attack he wants. I mean, considering I have the Focus Sash, I was going to be able to live anything regardless. He goes for the Leaf Storm. It's going to do a lot of damage to Mustachio, but I live with 10 HP, so I kind of look like I knew I was going to live that. Alright, and I'm able to scare it off with a Psychic, as I know he's going to bring out Florges, but I realize, you know, Psychic's my best bet in hitting this thing for a lot of damage, and considering he's at, like, almost half, this shouldn't be too bad of an idea. So Psychic does a little chunk of damage, and he's going to get his leftovers, but he's also going to take a poison and stuff. And I realized, should I just go for the Psychic again, or do you think this thing's going to probably go for a Wish, and then it would be just kind of useless? So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to go ahead and switch. I go into Kraydildo again, realizing, you know, he can't really hurt me, so Kraydildo's in a pretty good position. He's just going to try to go for the Moonblast, trying to hit my Alakazam. Kraydildo's going to go ahead and eat that shit up, which is pretty badass. I bet he's pretty bummed that he couldn't get a Toxic off on this Kraydilli. That would have been really nice for him. Luckily I got that burn. You know, the burn didn't turn out to be too bad at all. So I'm at about half here, and I realize, you know, he actually just goes for the Wish at this point. And I was like, oh shit, because if he switches into his Rotom Mow and gets this Wish, he's going to be at like full health, and I know that Psychic can only do about 85% to it from my Alakazam. So I was a little bit scared at this point. But I believe in my Kraydildo, and I feel like I can prevail. So he's going to get hurt by his poison. Unfortunately, doesn't knock it out. Gets him like to 1 HP. Now he's going to switch. He goes into his Rotom Meow, and it's going to get hurt by some Stealth Rocks, but then it's just going to go ahead and, after I go for the recovery, he's just going to get all of his Wish back. And I mean, he really can't hurt me, but I also can't hurt him, which is kind of the thing. I mean, I can Toxic it, which would be kind of like a slow death, which is basically the only thing I would be able to do. He actually goes for the Volt Switch, which is going to do like no damage, and I'm like, Kraydilli ain't give 2 shits, as he is just going to go ahead and switch back into his Florges, who's just going to die to some Stealth Cocks, which is pretty nice, and I no longer have to worry about that Flower Asshole again. So I went for the Toxic there, landed on nobody. Kraydilli's like, where the hell did everybody go? I'm freaking out here by myself, just loning it, and he actually just goes back into Rotomo. He's going to go ahead and Thunderbolt, getting that massive damage right there. Look at that damage. Cradilly's going to have to be an asshole right now and go ahead and Toxic this thing, and I'm just kind of like, at this point, like, wow. I did not expect Cradilly to do so well in Underused. I've only used it like twice in Underused actually, and it's actually done pretty damn swell for me both times. Now he's going to go for the Leaf Storm, which does a shit ton of damage as I go for the Giga Drain, and at this point I was like, okay, Cradilly, I can recover, but I feel like you've about outlasted your fucking time. He is definitely just going to be able to kill me at this point with another Leaf Storm, which is perfectly fine because I actually needed to revenge kill eventually. So I was like, you know, Cradilly needed to die, so Cradilly definitely does go ahead and die right there, which is a bummer, but you did a damn good job, bro. Damn good job. The Rotomo is going to have to face the wrath of Mustachio as I go for the Psychic, and at this point I was pretty glad because Cradilly at that point was just kind of staying in just so its toxic damage would knock it down to the point where I could kill it with a Psychic. Now all I have left is Alakazam, and who else do I have left? I have my Sharpedo left, as he goes in, kills me with an Ice Shard, no, I have my Hitmonlee and my Sharpedo left, as I'm going to bring in Kung Foot. I'm just going to go for the close combat and get as much damage off as I can, as I know that it's probably going to be able to kill me with an Earthquake after the defense drops and stuff. But that's perfectly fine with me, because if he kills Kung Foot, that means I can just come in and with Sharpedo and revenge kill this Donphan, which is pretty cool. So the Donphan is out less than half, which means that 50%'s like, oh right, I could come in and get some overkill on this bitch with a Waterfall. So that was actually a really good match. I had a really fun time. I haven't played a good Underused match like that in some time, and if you don't know who Shady is, you guys should definitely check out his channel. He has some awesome Pokemon videos. I actually spend a lot of my time watching his videos, and he's really fun to battle. So we'll probably have some more matches in the future, guys. Thank you for watching, and click the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Peace.